All right, we're starting module 1.3. Make sure you've gotten the 1.3 notes off of the back table. So, what are the states of matter? So, there's 3 states of matter. There's solids, there are liquids, and there are gases. Remember, you're writing down whatever's in red in your notes. Pause the video if you need to. So, just about everything found on Earth can be grouped into these 3 basic states. How can we tell the difference between each state of matter? Well, we can look at 2 properties to figure out which state of matter an object is. We can look at shape. So how does it maintain its shape, or does it maintain its shape? And then volume. So how much space does it take up? First, let's look at solids. So the atoms in a solid are tightly packed and do not move past each other, but they do vibrate in place. So if you look at this little video, you'll see that they vibrate very slightly. They have a definite shape and they have a definite volume. All right, so this is some examples of, this is what the atoms in a solid look like. And here are some examples. Ice is a good example of a solid, and then all these other things here are examples of solids. Liquids. So the atoms in a liquid are tightly packed, but not as tightly packed as solids, so they have enough room to flow or move past each other. And so they do not have a definite shape because they can flow and move, but they do have a definite volume. So you can see that they're close together, but they can flow and move past each other. So this is another example of how they look. Because liquid molecules can move, they will take the shape of their container. So you can see these are all the same liquid, but they're taking shape of their container. And this is just a little meme. So, cats like to get in boxes and like anything. So cats are liquids. Cats take the shape of the container while maintaining a consistent volume. That's it. So cats must be liquids. So here's some examples of liquids. We've got gasoline. What is this called? Laundry detergent, Coke, orange juice, water. Those are examples of liquids. So gases. The atoms in a gas are not tightly packed together and have so much energy that they slip past each other very quickly. So this means that they do not have a definite shape and they do not have a definite volume. So if you look at this, the gas molecules and atoms are just bouncing and moving around everywhere. It's another image illustrating that they're just moving everywhere. So a gas will spread out because it doesn't have a definite shape or volume. A gas will spread out to fill all the space in whatever container it is in. So a way you can think about this is a balloon. All right. If unconfined, so if it's not in a container like a balloon or whatever, gases will spread out indefinitely. All right, that's air. Air just flows and moves. And here are some examples of gases. So how does temperature affect density? So we're going to get more into density later, but let's skip this. Edit this out. All right, so make sure you write this. All right, so we're going to fill this in together in your notes. You should have a table, and we're going to go over this together. So does a solid have a definite shape? Yes, it has a definite shape. Think about an ice cube. You can see that definite shape. Does a liquid have a definite shape? No. Remember, just like the cat, it takes the shape of its container. And then a gas, does it have a definite shape? No. Again, a gas will take the shape of its container, and if it's not in a container, it's just going to continuously expand. Does a solid have a definite mass? Yes. So do liquids and gases. So remember we talked about mass a few lessons ago? The mass isn't going to change. And then definite volume. So does a solid have a definite volume? Yes, it has a definite volume. It takes up a certain amount of space, right? If you drop a piece of ice, an ice cube in a glass of water, it's going to take up space in that water and move the water up, just like you saw in that water displacement activity. Liquids also have a definite volume, but gases do not have a definite volume. And that's why gases can expand indefinitely, because it does not have a definite volume. All right, make sure you've recorded that on the table on your notes. All right, so now let's talk about the motion of the particles and the speed at which they move. So solids, they move, but very, very slowly. So they vibrate in place. All right, so now let's look at the motion of the particles. So solids, they vibrate in place. And in liquids, the particles are close, but they can move and slide past each other. And then in gases, particles are constantly expanding and moving away from each other. Now let's talk about the speed. So the speed of the particles in solids move slow, but they do move. And they move medium in liquids. They move faster than solids. And then lastly, in gases, they move the fastest in gases. Okay, so this is the end of these notes. Go ahead and all right, so this is the end of these notes. Go ahead and move on to this practice activity. That's the next activity in the module.